Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I want to share my Gauntlet race experience. So the race started I think today is day number 4, so 4 days ago. And the race is hardcore solo self-found. It's made or powered by Scissoran and the community, basically as a community funded and hosted a race. And yeah, besides being hardcore and solo self-found, we also have some very nice damage modifiers, right? So if you take a look here, this is applied to everywhere you go. On level 1, doesn't matter. These are generic mods that are everywhere, right? So we have 40% more monster life, we have 20% increased monster damage, we have movement speed, attack speed, cast speed. So basically all the monsters are like freaking Essence of Insanity boosted, more or less. Then we have Monster Fire, 2 additional projectiles, which is, in my opinion, the worst thing in this entire thing. Then monsters deal 30% phys as extra fire, as extra cold, and as extra lightning. That means that every monster in this entire race, or raid class, whatever, once it crits, it will ignite you, it will freeze chill you, it will shock you. You know, it's terrible. And to make it even worse, since this is just the children's birthday, what I would say, we have players have -40 to all resistance, and that is also including chaos resistance. So basically, once you kill a Kitaver in Act 5, you get -30, Kitaver Act 10, -30, and you start with -40, right? So the map mods, this is like the worst thing is basically in getting to maps. This is the major goal that I had, which I failed on, okay? So I did not make it to maps in 3 days and ripping 2 characters after 16 others. So basically, this resistant thing is not the worst. I mean, on leveling, on like going through the acts, it is super bad, you know, because like Merveil, super, like a lot of cold damage, then you have Val Oversoul, shit tons of lightning damage, and other things like Dominus and stuff. But at some point, based on gearing level and harvest crafting, you will be able to even cap your resistance, although you have -40, right? So you're just gonna path out on your skill tree, maybe taking those notes over here with diamond skin, like a lot of resistance, maybe even path over here, since you're most likely going to take the Scion Life Wheel anyways, get all the resistance here, all the resistance here. It is hardcore, you just have to make your character as beefy as possible. The map mods itself, once you start mapping, you know, like if you throw an Alch on like a yellow tier map or something, this is a map. It's going to be hard, obviously, but these are map modifiers that you know already, right? But the thing is, on leveling, this is a complete new thing. There is no 2 additional projectiles while you go through the acts, for example, right? And if we're gonna take a look on my experience here, these are the characters that I have played or killed and whatnot. So I would say, for me personally, I like to try out new builds, okay? I like to try out builds that I have never played before, and for some weird reason, I usually do that once there is a hardcore race. Which is even worse in this scenario because of all the damage modifiers. Melee characters are insanely hard to play because all the bosses and stuff, they most likely going to one-shot you once you get into melee range. So you're kind of forced, I mean, there are players like Alkaiser, they are just going with Marauder, with Berserker, with Juggernaut, with whatever, you know, but they have so much experience on their characters that they can actually pull that one off. But for a rookie, in terms of hardcore solo self and what I am, is unplayable, right? So I did play a couple of melee characters throughout this thing, and actually 2 melee characters did make it the furthest, I would say. But I'm going to go over the list and what I tried to play and how the characters did die with clips this time a little bit later. So basically what I was saying is I like to try out builds. So usually the meta builds in this race would be Spellslinger all the way, right? You have like Volatile Death, Spellslinger is a Necromancer, is like whatever, you know. You have Trickster, Essence Drain, Contagion with Spellslinger and without. And I think those 2 builds are the most common ones. I also seen a bunch of like Blade Fall, Blade Blast on Spellslinger. So that's why I say Spellslinger all the way. Like almost every successful build in this race is a Spellslinger build, right? But yeah, to show you off, like, how does this look like? You know, we are Twilight Strand, no problem, right? And you already see that the monster here has like some pretty big life, and actually just chilled me because I think I got crit here. So we're doing the first zombie here, right? the guy that drops me actually a gem, right? So we got Double Strike now, and this guy just one hit, basically half of my HP gone, even more, so that means if he hits me twice in a row, I'm dead, you know? Like, this is no joke at all here. So I'm just gonna make this one to attack move for here. Got end already, a couple of seconds lost, but in the end, this is not a race to be like, you know, if you play like a race like Act 5 Kitava race, you know, without those modifiers, you want to be fast, like super fast, right? In this race, it doesn't really matter if you're slow, because in the end, it's just about surviving, right? And if you take your time, do harvest, do all side quests, whatever, you know, you might have pretty good chances. So here you basically have to run around Hillock and try to, yeah, not get hit, basically. What is possible here. But as soon as he gets out the sword, you're gonna see that we're gonna get some big chunks of damage here. So, yeah, usually you would do this all the time. As a ranged character is a lot easier, right? So you would basically just run around and just try to not get hit. Once you have the flow in, it's basically pretty easy. But let's just get hit once. And chilled again. So let's get some life back. So you basically have to kite all the way. Okay, let's see another one. And I'm chilled again. So that's basically, yeah, 80 or 85% of my life gone with one single attack, right? Should we die? No, I got this, I got this. Okay, just find the flow. Attack, 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 attack. Okay, no, what? No, no. Dude, I'm out of flasks. Okay, again. Attack, attack, attack. I'm actually going the wrong way, I think. I think I need to go this way. There we go. Easy clap. So you have to go like counterclockwise, so you don't run in his attack basically while circling around him. But as you see, it is quite challenging even to go there, right? And Hillock does not have additional projectiles, so you can basically think of other bosses in this entire race, basically, what is super hard, right? So if we talk about Act 1, what is hard in Act 1? Hillock normally not, okay? As a ranger, it's super easy with the burning arrow, with the ignite and stuff like that. Melee characters do have a harder time, and actually one of my characters, I think it was this guy over here, number 12, died on Hillock. That was my only Hillock death though, okay? So if we take a look at the rips here, Prisoner's Gate is a very deadly zone. It's the one, the zone after Brutus, with the Goatman, okay? And the Goatman, they're just leap slamming to you, right? And if there is a pack of like 2 or 3 Goatmen and they all jump on you, you're dead, you know? Like every jump takes away like 40-50% of your life pool. And the first 2 characters actually died because of those Goatmen. Then my first successful character was actually a Pathfinder with a Viper Strike. So you know that my last character in the softcore trading league basically was my Pathfinder Pestilent Strike, and I had so much fun playing it that I decided to bring this character into the hardcore solo self-found race as well. And yeah, it was actually doing well. I mean, I think Weaver, like Merveil took like 10 minutes of fighting or so, you know, like just trying to get as much life as possible. And then I died on Weaver. So Weaver is the second worst boss basically. I think like in Act 1 the only problematic zones are Brutus and Merveil. Those two. In Act 2, I would say the bandits are not even hard. You will take Alira or help Alira anyways because of the resistance, just to get your resistance bonuses a little bit better here, right? But Weaver has the big problem, it poisons you, it deals chaos damage, you have negative 40 chaos resistance, you have like, you can actually cap your chaos, like your cold resistance or Merveil using Sapphire Rings, for example. You can get easily Lightning Rest capped in Act 2 for the Val Oversoul, for example, so you can tank those beams that she's doing. But Weaver with the chaos damage, with the Flicker Strike, and especially once you kind of have to melee her with a decoy totem. I think this is like one of the things that you will be able to do it, because as soon as you go too far in range, she's shooting those web balls or whatever they are, right? And she's shooting 3 of those and they can overlap, okay? So this character had 780 life or so, I don't know, like close to like 750 to 800, somewhere at that place. This is more life than my typical softcore character has when I kill Kitava in Act 10, right? So that was actually super beefy character. I did Harvest, I crafted some good gear. But yeah, in the end, there is a trick that you can do once you are new on a race or something. You have the Einhar quest, right? And if you don't do the Einhar quest, you can just jump into the Weaver's chambers, basically, right? Until Einhar spawns, and Einhar is doing 10 times more damage than you. So all you have to do is basically run around, try to stay alive, while Einhar is killing Weaver, right? But it only worked once, and on this one I had Einhar, but Weaver had like 5% life left or so in the second phase, and I got one-shotted basically through the spider balls because I was dashing too far away, and that's it, okay? Number 4 was a Shadow. I think this was my try to do an Essence Drain Contagion, and yeah, kind of weird. I think I was actually racing, because usually I'm like level 15 or so, or 14 on Merveil. But yeah, I got like, this is the same problem here. Phase 1 on Merveil, not a problem. Phase 2, when you get out of range, she's shooting like those frost projectiles, and she's shooting 3 of those, and you get locked down in place by freeze and chill, and then she just does it twice and you're dead, you know, so... Then number 5 was an Arc Witch, which was actually, I would say, my most successful character, obviously, for number 5. I even have the rip clip of this one, so let me actually... How can we do that? Can we just... Which rip clip? If we just put it over here, you basically see everything there is to see, right? So yeah, this is Doedre. With the additional projectiles, it is quite hard. I would actually just mute myself over here, because there is like music in the background, right? So... She's shooting 3 of those projectiles, and they hurt like hell. I have not really good experience about this fight, so I know that one circle is like vulnerability. I think the purple one is like temp chains or something. I'm not even sure. So, you know, as a softcore player, I don't care. I go in there, I basically one-shot her, and I move out again, right? But in this race, it is like very, very hard, just because you don't have damage, because you need to stick every survivability basically... or every point into survivability, right? So I was just moving around, trying to focus, like, let my Orb of Storms do some damage, throw in some arcs here and there, and you see that she's not losing any life at all, right? And then basically just at some point when I was just casting my arc basically over here, the projectiles hit me, they overlapped. It's basically the exact same thing as my Ranger here died. On the Weaver, there's just like overlapping balls here, right? So you see that over here, bam, one shot, I'm dead. There is like no way or no chance of surviving that one, which made me wonder, like, obviously on this race, the Spellslinger versions, Essence Drain and stuff like that, are that superior, right? Because think about it as a melee character trying to dodge all those balls while still doing damage. It's almost impossible, right? So an Essence Drain character, I just have to like aim and shoot or hit one Essence Drain every like 3 or 4 seconds, and Doedre will die over time, and I can just focus on dodging, rather than like on this version here where I actually wanna get my arcs off to do some kind of damage, because Orb of Storms is not doing the most here, right? And here one cast too much, instantly dead, goodbye witch. This was character number 5. Then number 6 was a Shadow in Mudflats. Actually, this is like a kind of bonus clip, so just to prove that there is packet loss, right? So I was just like in Mudflats with freezing pulls, you know, like just kiting up some monsters. I got locked down in place, I got freeze chill, and then I actually said like, you know what, let's log out. But yeah, unfortunately, I died to packet loss, and yeah, shit happens, I would say, right? Then my second most successful... I think rank 1 or place 1 goes to the Berserker, number 14. Now, actually, this Pathfinder was my biggest success. So, the story behind it. I actually wanted to go back to my Pestilence Strike, or at least Viper Strike Pathfinder. It did work out quite well, I would say. For some reason, I dropped the Tabula, actually. I think I have it actually somewhere. Number 7 is still here in Standard, so you see the gear. I actually had a Worm's Mold and a Tabula drop, and the Tabula basically dropped, I think, on a mob before Dominus, basically, right? So I just, like, went back, banked it, you know, and then was thinking about, Is a tabula good? First of all, I instantly vaulted because no risk, no fun, right? Sadly, no +1 gems or something. But in the end, it's still a tabby, it's a 6-link, and especially on characters like that, it is quite okay or quite nice to have that extra damage. For casters, it's not really too necessary, but don't forget, this race is all about surviving with all the negative resistance and stuff. A tabula, I mean, yeah, you have a 6-link, but no life, no resistance, no nothing on the chest, right? I still went for it, and basically what I did was playing Viper Strike until level 28, playing Pestilence Strike afterwards. But once I killed Dominus, for some reason this character lived through everything without having any damage, not even a lot of life, just insane amounts of luck, I would say. And once I was in the mines, I said, like, I'm gonna die here. There's no freaking way I'm going to make a melee character to survive certain things. And then I switched to Caustic Arrow, to Toxic Rain, and ended up with a Scorch Arrow, or Scorch Arrow, I think. Because I found it a pretty good Fizzbow, and I said, like, there is way higher chances to survive as a Scorch Arrow Pathfinder than there is as a Pestilence Striker, right? And I even made it to Innocence. This is the furthest I've gotten in this entire race, so let's watch the rip clip over here as well. So basically, yeah, it was not bad, you know, just run around, let the poison proliferation do the thing. But then there is one thing, right? I always say when I play hardcore, I don't use a logout macro, right? I don't use any strategies with portal into town. For me personally, hardcore, if your character dies, you know, it's your own fault, it was too weak, or anything like that. But I have to admit, at Innocence, there is like some bad game design, what I would call it, right? So here in this phase here, just like running around, let the poison proliferation do its thing, right? Killing off the monsters. And now you have this this phase where Innocence shooting his balls, you know, like, and with the additional projectors, there's shit tons of balls, you know. And usually, like this here, right? Usually there is those statues that you can hide behind it, right? But there was none there, so I tried to, like, yeah, get over it or something like that. But yeah, with that extra damage with additional projectiles is like super hard to actually do that. So usually you have this statue which is like then freezing or turning into stone again, and then you can basically hide behind it to actually survive it, right? But yeah, in this death here, there is like no chance, you know, like as soon as this phase ended, she was doing the balls, there was no statue there, so all I could do is like try to dodge it, and yeah, rip to number 7, I would say. Then I had a lot of ideas with, like, I wanted to do a poison Blade Vortex, you know, the Poison Blade Vortex. The first two characters both got one-shotted on Brutus before actually getting to Blade Vortex. Number 10 did actually make it to Blade Vortex. I killed actually Brutus on this one, but the problem here was Blade Vortex has such a small range that you count as a melee, right? So you want to kind of stay on range that you don't get auto-attacked by bosses, but at this part, you know, Blade Vortex will at such a small area early on that you just have to stay there and channel to do some damage, and then I just got 2 auto attacks of Merveil, and I was dead, freezing, shock, ignite, whatever, you know, and rip to that one. Number 11 and 12, I have no idea what happened to those two. I think that was my attempt to do another one, something. Here is my only death on Hillock. Here I died on the coast again, like packet loss probably. No, I actually got one-shotted by the those fire dudes, you know, that are throwing their torches or Molotov cocktails. They just throw 3 of those. And yeah, then to number 13, another shadow, another kill to Brutus. It seems like I'm not good on playing shadows against Brutus. He's one-shotting you. That's super hard. Sometimes, you know, he grabs you, you dash away, that works. But sometimes if the shockwave catches you, you're dead. If the special attack is catching you, you're dead, you know. So, coming to number 14, which was my, what I would say, most successful character. This was an Earth Shatter Berserker, since I had a lot of fun playing the Earth Shatter lately. And here again, on basically on Innocence once again, right? So in this case, you see there is the balls, there is a statue, you just hide behind it. He was actually cheating, trying to get me over there with his AoE attack. Everything worked fine, right? And this character even made it better. There you see like Innocence second phase, he had like 5% life left or so, or maybe 10%. Maybe a Culling Strike would have helped in this part. But yeah, same situations. We have 4 active statues, and there is the special attack. There is no statue to hide behind it, so basically the same death as on the Pathfinder. And to be honest, I've never seen 4 active statues on the Innocence fight, so you can imagine how low my DPS was. But therefore, I was res capped. I had like 1500 life with endurance charges, so I did tank quite some attacks, but these balls are just, yeah, horrible. And this was basically the furthest that I've gotten. After that, that was level number 15, I think, was the try to make a Bane pop occultist, but died on Weaver again, same as the Ranger over here. For some reason, I died more often to Brutus than on Merveil, like obviously because Brutus is before me. Well, if you die before, you cannot die on Weaver anymore, right? 5 head ideas here. Then number 16 was a Wintertide brand occultist, or witch better said, which was kind of okay, trying it out, you know, like since Essence Drain Contagion is so successful in those races, I thought like Cold Dot with Cold Snap and stuff like that might be good as well. Was actually good until the Lunaris Temple level 2, you know, those titty monsters that are shooting their spikes, you know, they just overlapped. I was dead within a second, which was kind of sad. Then number 17 was a Duelist trying to go for max block Earthquake Bleed, but Weaver had other plans. And number 18 was then off stream. I said like, hey, I want to do an Ethereal Knives Poison. So basically the same as a Blade Vortex Poison Assassin, just with Ethereal Knife, so you are more on range, right? And Merveil said, nope, this character will not survive as well. So 18 characters ripped in the matter of 3 days. And this is basically the end of my Racing Gauntlet experience. I have no more motivation to do any more characters. Since the past 3 days with like 10 hours every day, I have not seen any more than... The most was Act 5, so I have no chance of trying to make this race in an ethical way, basically. Without logout macro, without any... like porting out to get damage immune on certain mechanics and stuff like that. And the next thing, like playing off-meta builds in a race like that, this is like the worst stupid idea, but it's all about the fun that I would say. I still have here a bunch of like rare items to be faster on the next characters when I want to level them up, right? I even found a Chaos Sign, but sadly never made it to Juggernaut, so yeah. So the rip clips are done. We talked about these deaths over here. So what would I say as a summary of the race? So personally, I am still interested in hardcore solo self-found in that regard. I'm just not a racer. I'm still doing all side quests. I don't care about the time. I don't race against somebody, although it is a race. But I don't want to be better than Zizeron, I don't want to be better than Race, I'm just trying to be the best that I can pull off in this race. And after 18 characters, Act 5 was the best, so big respect to everybody that is making it better than me or further than me. And in the end, as I said, I like to try out fancy builds, and hardcore and especially solo self-found are just not the place where I see myself in a confident way to try out all kinds of builds, and this is probably why I am that kind of a softcore player and trade player, because I just like to try out new mechanics, new things, without worrying, what if this character dies, what if this doesn't drop, what if that, and so on. And the build creating and so on is the part that brings the most fun to me in this game, as well as making currency and just gamble it or something like that. So that's why I can safely say I'll just stick to softcore trade as long as there is no other race. And in the other hand, like as a softcore player, jumping into a race like this with those damage modifiers, which is just like a suicide mission on its own, right, is probably not the best idea either. Although I had fun, but that's it basically. So I'm just going to leave this race now. There will be one more open spot, so somebody else can jump in and try his luck. And yeah, probably while you're watching this, the spot is already gone as well. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you on the next video.